Anyway, speaking of which, we have apparently Steam is facing a $900 million lawsuit. Apparently. You know, the person that actually did this story is freaking Atozy. Atozy has done this story. That kind of shocks me, to be honest. I was not expecting Atozy to be talking about video game news because he usually talks about, like, you know, kind of like stupid things in general. So do I. I like talking about stupid things too, but like this is pretty, honestly, this is pretty funny. It's kind of crazy to see this. I was not expecting to see this from this guy. What's going on anyways? What lawsuit is this? Is this the thing that I think this is? Mighty Keep Up also made a video on it? Really? What the hell?
Steam just lost a major legal motion which can end up costing them close to $1 billion. But there's a whole lot at stake here because right now this case is challenging the rules that Steam has set for PC gaming over the last 20 years. And this can actually reshape the entire PC gaming industry depending on how all of this plays out. So back in June of 2024, a woman named Vicky Shotbelt, who runs an organization that focuses on children's digital safety, she filed a lawsuit against Valve in the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal. Vicky has spent roughly 2 decades working in digital rights advocacy.
Valve faces a $900 million lawsuit accused of abusing its dominance in the PC gaming to overcharge for games and DLC. As UK court says, the case can continue. I didn't know that Steam was overcharging games. I thought that was the company who set the prices for the games. What? I thought, what? Doesn't Steam is the one that like just kind of like, you know, just has a platform where people just publish their games on? Yeah, TLDR, it's all because in certain areas Steam is doing too good than other PC game sites. Okay, and so what? It's not their fault that they're doing good. Maybe the opponents should just make their platform better for competition.
UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal.
So
Vicky has spent roughly 2 decades working in digital rights advocacy, and for this case, she's even established a dedicated legal entity to represent the UK consumers through a collective action. And here in her lawsuit, she's going after Valve for roughly 656 million Great British pounds, which is about $900 million, on the behalf of an estimated 14 million people in the United Kingdom who've purchased games and add-on content on Steam since June of 2018. Okay, first of all,
what dumbass people in the UK is joining this shit? I need names now. We're gonna hunt these bitches down right now, to be honest. Okay, this makes no fucking sense. This literally makes no sense. What the hell am I listening to?
That's insane. That's a crazy amount of potential claimants, because in practice, what this means is if Valve were to actually lose this case, the money wouldn't—
Boo fucking who? Boo fucking who cares? It's not their fault that their business is booming because your business sucks ass. None from what I know. It's opt-out lawsuit.
Go to Vicky herself. In theory, the money would be distributed across roughly 14 million UK Steam users, which gives each user the grand sum of somewhere between 22 and 44 Great British pounds.
Why does this sound like a scam? This sounds like a scam. It feels like this lady is trying to scam Steam. Why does it feel like that? It really does feel like that right now.
That is just a theory of what could happen, not a guaranteed payout or split. But a key detail here is this kind of lawsuit in the UK is an opt-out, not opt-in, which means that if you're a UK resident who bought stuff on Steam during this time frame, you're already a part of this lawsuit, unless you specifically say that you don't want to be involved. Now, obviously, Valve were not gonna just not fight back, so they filed to get this entire case dismissed before it could even go to trial, essentially arguing a whole bunch of technical points about why it shouldn't qualify as a collective action. They also said the methodology for calculating damages were also flawed, and that it would be impossible to properly identify who should get compensated, and the whole economic analysis behind the case just didn't hold up.
So it's a fucking scam. So this is a scam. This is literally straight up it's just this woman literally just trying to get money off of Steam, dude. I swear to God, it is literally this woman just trying to get money off of Steam. It has to be. This just sounds like a scam.
Court, however, actually ruled with Shotbolt's team, and just a couple of weeks ago, the Competition Appeal Tribunal issued a ruling that rejected Valve's objections and greenlit the lawsuit to proceed. They acknowledged that, yeah, some of the economic analysis is complicated, but that's definitely not a valid reason to completely end the case at this stage. Now, the core argument of this lawsuit comes down to 3 major allegations.
One Steam was damn near or was the first digital storefront. 2 others launched or storefronts are not that good. I personally like GOG and UI. The UI is good and you can connect all games so you can keep track of your library on PS and Xbox. Really, you can do that? Didn't know that. Third, you can look at Steam like Twitch and the other streaming platforms. Oh, I see.
Apparently, all from how Valve uses Steam's massive market dominance. First up, so we have price controls. The lawsuit here claims that Valve enforces what's called platform parity obligations, basically rules that prevent game developers from selling their games cheaper on other platforms. So if you're a developer and you want your game on Steam, you allegedly aren't allowed to sell the game cheaper on any other platforms like Epic Games Store or on your own website than what it's sold for on Steam. Now, to somewhat verify that, Valve's public guidelines do mention that if developers run sales or discounts on Steam keys sold through their websites, they need to offer similar deals to people buying directly on Steam within a reasonable amount of time. And the exact phrasing they use is that developers should not give Steam customers a worse deal than what's available anywhere else. But whether that's a suggestion or an enforced requirement is a part of what this lawsuit is trying to establish.
Are we serious here? Are we actually serious? That's one of the reasons why? Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the reason indie studios would often want to sell outside of Steam is because of Steam's 30% commission on sales. But I guess to counter that, Steam is by far the best gaming platform. They built a community and an ecosystem like no one else, which I guess is why they can justify the 30% fee. Like, for example, I've been using Steam for like 16 years now, and throughout those years, I played a lot of games with a lot of friends. Number one, it's an awesome tool for me to keep in contact with old friends, but something I noticed is when your friends launch a game, you get this little pop-up on the corner of your screen on what they're playing. And that pop-up is genius because I found so many cool games just because I see friends of mine constantly playing some new game I haven't heard about. And I mean, I can't be the only one who's bought games based on what my friends are playing. But the second major accusation is how DLC and add-on content work. Because, as the lawsuit puts it, when you buy a game on Steam, you're basically locked into buying all future DLC content through Steam as well. And you can't just buy.
So is the same thing when you buy it on the PlayStation Store? You could only buy it on the PlayStation Store? Same thing for the fucking Xbox? When you buy a fucking Xbox game and you can only buy DLC from the Xbox Store? What the fuck are we talking about here? What? This makes no fucking sense. What the hell? And I assume it's the same thing for Epic Games. I assume.
A game on Steam and then grab an expansion pack from a different storefront like the Epic Games Store or so on. But I feel like this whole point is extremely dumb because this is not something that's exclusive to Steam. Pretty much every digital platform operates in this way. PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Epic Games, like they're all built around the same idea.
Well,
you have to buy all the DLC packages on top of the base game.
That's why I'm thinking this fucking lawsuit is a fucking scam. That's what I'm thinking. This lawsuit is so fucking retarded. It's a dumbass lawsuit. What the fuck is this? Holy crap, the UK is so cooked. Oh my god.
Let's say you bought Far Cry off of Ubisoft Connect, formerly known as Uplay, and then one of the DLCs off of the Epic Games Store. You wouldn't be able to launch the DLC from the Epic Games launcher without the base game itself being registered to your account.
Exactly.
But also, I don't really see a point in buying your base game on either Steam or base game on Epic Games and then trying to buy the DLC on vice versa. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And ironically, the same game can actually behave.
There is no platform or launcher that allows you to buy a game from one platform and then buy DLC for it on another. Yeah, exactly. That doesn't even exist. Even I know this because the problem is you would have to build an infrastructure for it to connect from their specific system over to that other specific system in order to do it, you know? And for a fact these companies are not going to work with each other like happy friends, like collaboration VTubers.
Very differently depending on the storefront. Like PC ports on Epic Games and Steam, for some reason, aren't always identical, because there's been plenty of reports of crashes or bugs on Epic versions that simply don't happen on Steam for some reason. But moving on with the lawsuit then mentions that commission. Because, as I mentioned earlier, as of now, Valve takes a 30% cut of every sale that happens on Steam. So when you buy a game for like $20, roughly $6 go to Valve, and then $14 goes to the developer. Here, the lawsuit argues that this rate is unreasonably high.
What? Excuse me? What a...
Especially compared to newer competitors like Epic Games Store, which only charges 12%. They claim that Valve can keep this higher rate specifically because of their market dominance, and since developers just can't afford to not be on Steam, they have to accept this. But this is also a little...
Yeah, but then like Epic Store's like launcher is dog shit, you know? They haven't updated their launcher for like who knows how long, dude. Like straight up, they haven't even updated it at all. Oh god.
Bit tricky because just like the cross-store purchases thing,
we'll say for indie games, they can cut that 30 to 25 or 20%. Yeah, I think so. I think like at a certain like limit, if you're like charging the game or so at like $9.99 or 20 or something, $19.99 or whatever, whatever pricing or so, they can probably do like a certain pricing thing or so, range or so of how much percentage they cut and everything. So
not exclusive to Valve and Steam. I would pretty much go as far to say that 30% rate is pretty industry standard, because Apple charges 30% on the App Store, Google charges 30% on their Play Store, and even GOG, which has, a reputation for being more developer friendly, still charges 30%.
What the fuck are we talking about? Wait a second. So you're telling me, wait. You're telling me that all these other platforms charge 30%, but for some apparent reason they're going after Steam because... okay. All right. Just what am I listening to? What the fuck is this? Now you can gift games now on Epic. So Dark, get that Epic ready for Lords of the Mid too.
So the rate in itself isn't really unusual. And if they, win based on how steep that rate is, what does it say for the rest of I guess we have to sue everyone then. But if this lawsuit succeeds, not only UK Steam users could actually receive some level of compensation for allegedly overpaying for games in recent years. And individually, that payout, it's not like it's going to be some life-changing money. It's going to be like, $20 to $40. But obviously when you combine...
I don't think they're going to receive that money, to be honest. I think it's just going to be straight to her.
$20 to $40 to every single person, it adds up to about $900 million, which is crazy because that's what they're seeking in the lawsuit. But I feel like a more significant issue isn't even the compensation itself. It's what a ruling like that could mean for how Steam operates going forward. Because if the court finds that Valve's business practices are genuinely anti-competitive, they could be ordered to make substantial changes. And most likely, those changes wouldn't just be in the UK. But despite all that, there's still this one
It should be just in the fucking UK, in my personal opinion. I am so fucking sick and tired of like that fucking specific side of the world fucking demanding and telling you what to do in other fucking regions, dude. I am so fucking tired of it. Not gonna lie, I do not like it whatsoever, dude. Oh my god, dude. I swear, man, that European central area is starting to really tick me off. Not gonna lie, it's starting to really get me annoyed. Holy shit, man. Control your people over there, people from the UK, I swear.
Complicating factor in the case that might make the entire situation not as clean as it looks on paper, because Steam uses something called Steam keys, which are basically activation codes for games that developers can generate for free and sell whenever they want. That's at least my understanding of them. Because if you buy games on PC, you've probably seen a whole bunch of these third-party retailers like G2A and Kinguin and so on and so on. And the most important detail is that Valve doesn't take any commission on the Steam keys sales. So if a developer generates 1,000 Steam keys and sells them for whatever the price they want, Valve gets $0 from those transactions. And the buyer still downloads and plays the game through Steam. So they are still using Valve's servers and bandwidth and infrastructure. But here, Valve did not collect their 30% cut. Although this is a little bit of a gray zone because sometimes developers sell these keys and sometimes these keys are leaked and then sold on these other websites. Because there's definitely been a whole bunch of scandals where stolen Steam keys are sold on these third-party websites. Now, this doesn't completely undermine the whole lawsuit, but it might undercut part of the claim, since there's already this massive side economy of game sales happening right now. And I guess another decent argument for Valve is they're pretty much getting sued for doing the things that are pretty much standard across the entire gaming industry. You know, the 30% commission. Almost every platform charges that. Keeping DLC locked on the platform for the base game, like every major storefront works that way as well. Having pricing guidelines for developers, that's also pretty universal. But competition law, on the other hand, does treat companies differently based on their market position. So practices that would be totally fine for a smaller competitor is apparently a big no-no for a big guy. So it kind of seems like they're
Man, the UK, dude. Oh my god, dude. What is wrong with you guys, dude? What is wrong with the UK, man? Damn, co-said creator and the other EU views are on notices until they fix their kin. Man, the UK have some explaining to do. They definitely have some explaining to do, man. Just like what Asmongold said, there are two types of people in this world that causes problems for everyone else. Incels and Karens. And the picture at the very beginning of the video of this goddamn VOD or so is a fucking Karen, dude. We need to grab all these Karens and put them in a mental asylum, to be honest. They just need to be locked up. They really do. I'm tired of this, dude. I'm tired of other stupid women or so trying to tell us what to do at the end of the day. Oh my god.
designed to be against the market leader. But obviously for it to be a no-no, it still requires them proving Steam has that level of dominance and that their practices are causing measurable harm. Now, the public opinion in this lawsuit doesn't seem as split as what I would have thought, at least, because some gaming news outlets ran a poll asking readers whether they thought Valve's business practices were anti-competitive, and something like 84% said no. And I feel like this is mirroring what's currently being said on Reddit. Because I mean, from a user experience, Steam has a lot of features that genuinely treat customers pretty well compared to other platforms, like a refund system, family sharing, the Steam Workshop, community features, and its ongoing support. I feel like it's kind of just a skill issue that Uplay or Uconnect suck that much. Epic Games is like okay at best, and don't even get me started on Origin. The only reason people use
fucking Origin, Jesus.
Origin or Uplay, which is now Uconnect, is because they were forced to use it. Steam earned its dominant position by simply just being the best product for the longest time. Like Epic Games has been dumping huge amounts of money into their store through exclusive deals and giving away games for free and only charging 12% on sales and all that stuff, but they still can't really compete with Steam in any meaningful way.
They haven't even fucking fixed anything on the launcher. They haven't updated the launcher. They didn't add any new features. Nothing. They add nothing. They just made a launcher and that's it. That's all they did.
Some people argue that the market will self-correct. Like if Steam is genuinely overcharging, competitors will undercut them and slowly take away their user base. But of course, there are also those people who believe that the network effects and first mover advantages make meaningful competition nearly impossible without intervention. But I mean, in my opinion, it's a slippery slope when regulators choose the winners rather than us, the consumers. This is definitely not the first time something like this has happened, because the developer behind the game Overgrowth filed a similar lawsuit against Valve in the United States back in 2021. And there they made many of the same arguments, but that case got dismissed initially, but was refiled and achieved, I guess, a class action status. So now it's been slowly working its way through the courts, and it's been 5 years. So developers over the years have been grumbling about Valve, but overall, I mean, this process will likely take a long time to see anything happen. But it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, because depending on how it plays out, it can absolutely reshape the fundamentals of PC gaming for everyone, which is why I wanted to sit here and talk about it today. But other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, lordy lord, honestly. Wow. If she wins this lawsuit, then Epic Games, Ubisoft, Riot Games, Blizzard, all gotta get sued for the exact same thing. Yep, that's true. become so good at selling games that you get sued over it.
La vi con otra paloma. Me voy a matar.
I just want to own the games that I pay for. Can someone make a lawsuit for that? How is Steam operating a monopoly? They aren't stopping competition from competing. The competition is straight up removing itself from the game. Jesus, that's crazy, honestly. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And yeah, I just want to learn about this specifically. And I think personally, it's kind of pretty dumb out of all of this. Yeah, I just personally don't. I don't know. I just don't approve of it. What a dumbass fucking